Back and now we see how to create a form inside a web page. The web forms are uh, very important and very useful. Like when you sign up in any website, you fill up a form and submit that form, and the forms are also used for surveys. So let's see how to develop a form inside an HTML page. So it's also quite easy. We have a form tag. Actually the form has two you can say parts. The front end part is a comment, the front end part and the back end part. In the front end part, we make the elements of the form, and the backend is written in some server-side language like PHP or .NET or any other server-side language. In the front end part of the form, we enter the information, and when we submit the form, the information is sent back to the server, where it is saved inside database using some server-side language like PHP or .NET. So right now we will not focus on the back end of the form. We'll just see how to render the elements of the form for the front end part of the form. So it's a form tag. We open this tag and close this tag, and here in the form we have text fields and passwords and email. So for any input field, we use the tag of input. This tag will have multiple options by using or having different values for the type attribute. So for now we say that the type is text, so it will be a text field. Like if you say enter name, I save the page and reload the page. Here it is name. Sometimes you see that the placeholder inside the text field, which is actually not the text, but it is a grayed out text for the help of the user. You can use it as well with the attribute of placeholder. So like I say right here placeholder, and I write here name, so it will be shown here this way, name, and I can click and write anything in this tag. Next, for email, you can use the text field as well, or in HTML5 and in later versions of HTML they have given a specific type for email, because they can so that they can automatically validate the format of the email. So for email, let's put line break here. For email, I copy and paste the same line and just change here the input type from text to email, and I write email, and here I write the email. So save the page, reload. Here you see the input field for email. And for password, the passwords characters are not shown, they are hidden. So here I copy and paste this line, and for password we have specific type named password, and I change here like password, and here as well. So this is it, and whenever I write anything in this text field, it will not be shown, it will be shown as dots. So after this text field, there are also some other input options like radio buttons and checkboxes. For radio button, we have input type that's called radio. Like if I say gender, and for gender you have two options, male or female. So I write input type, and type is actually radio, and I close the tag, and I write here male, insert line break, and again I copy and paste the same line and write here female. So this way radio button will be rendered. Control and save. Save the page and reload the web page. So male and female. So right now you can see that both options can be selected. This is against the rule of radio buttons, because radio buttons are specifically used for exclusive selection. We should be able to select only one of the given options. So to make it exclusive, we will make a little change in this HTML code. Here we add the attribute of name, and we will name the both fields with the same you can say variable. Like I say the name of this first field is, the input field is XYZ, and the second field is also XYZ. So now these both radio buttons will have the same name, and the same name will make them a single group. So from a group we can select only one option. So I can save the page and go to the here, and here now you can select only one of the given options. After radio button, we have also observed checkboxes, and in checkboxes you do have right to select multiple options. Like if I use here something like sports, my favorite sports, which can be more than one, I break here, and here instead of radio I will write checkbox, here as well checkbox, and here we do not need to name them same because we might have multiple options. Like here I use cricket, chess, and sports. Here you can write anything like football. So I save the page and reload this web page, and here I have checkboxes. You can have multiple options here. So after checkboxes, there are also other elements in web form, like buttons and text area. For text area commenting, the field, the tag is text area, open and closed. It's a text area. Whatever you write in between, it will be shown there. Like if I write something like right here, it will be shown there. And I save the page and load the web page. Here is the text area. It is draggable. Of course, you can also set its width and height by using the attributes of columns and rows. So I say it must have 20 rows and say 50 columns. So its size will be changed like this. Size has been changed. So this is text area. After text area, we also have buttons in forms. There are different types of buttons. Like if I say input type button, it will be an individual button. It will have nothing to do with the form thing. And in value, whatever we write here in the value attribute, it will be shown on the button, a simple button. So we save the page and reload it. So this is a simple button. And there are two other types of buttons which are strictly related to form, and which will work only if they are written inside this form tag. If we write the code of those buttons outside this form tags, they will not function properly. So there are two types of buttons which work only inside this form tag, which are a reset button and a submit button. Input type reset, value, whatever we write in the value, it will be shown on the button. So if I say clear the form inputs, this reset button actually clears all the values that we have typed inside the form in one go. Like here it has appeared. I write something here, select something, write something here, and now I just click this button, everything has disappeared. So it is very useful. It resets the whole form. And the next is a submit button. Submit button is actually very important, the core of the form tag, and it actually posts the information from client side into server side. We write its type as submit, and what we write in the value attribute, it will be displayed on the button. I write it is send the information. The information will be sent to the server. And when we click on the submit button, it validates the form as well. Like we have used the type email, it will check if the email was written in proper format or not. Like I write something like this, and now I submit the button. Sorry, I reloaded the page. Here's the submit button appeared. Now I enter the information and click on the submit button, and here the message was displayed that please include an @ in the email address. So the message was prompted that email is not in the right format. So if I write it this way, test@test.com, and now I submit the form, it will be submitted. But right now, as we do not have added the code to send the information to the backend, it will not go anywhere. But actually the functionality of this submit button is to send the information to the server side. When we will study PHP or some other server side language in some next lecture, then we will discuss how to use the web form to send information from the client to the server. In addition to these tags, in HTML5 we have many other tags which you can use, and just 6 years ago those attributes were not available. We had to develop functionalities on our own, but right now we have some very handy and useful attributes in input tag which have facilitated our work very much. Like you can use the tag of input with date attribute, and this date attribute will automatically create a calendar to choose the date. Like this is the date attribute, and when I click here, a calendar appears automatically. It is very useful, very handy. So because Writing the date in the proper format was always a problem. If I choose any date from here, it will be properly entered in this text field. Similarly, we have some also other useful attributes for input tag like color. I use color here, and just by writing this attribute, you will have a color picker where you can pick the right color what you want. Row page, and here is a color picker. You can choose any color of your own choice. So right now that's it. In next lecture we will study, so there are so many hundreds and hundreds of tags of HTML. You can dive into those tags yourself, and there's a lot of information available on the internet. So it is just an introduction to those tags, and in the next lecture we will see how to add style to these tags by using Cascade style sheet. So for now that's it. Take care. Bye bye.